Alongside Brent Hubbs, I'm Austin Price. Reaction from this Tuesday night, Brent. What we know at this point in the coaching search is Tony Elliott seems like he's destined to stay at Clemson, going to get more money to stay with the Tigers. But one name that I've continued to hear more and more on this Tuesday night is Central Florida head coach Josh Heupel. Brent, it seems like there's some traction with the former Oklahoma quarterback.
Yeah, that's a guy obviously Danny White's very familiar with, and hiring him at Central Florida. One wondered when he got this job if Josh Heupel might not be a candidate. We had him on our hot board out of the gate because it just made a lot of sense. Certainly that's not been kind of the first direction that Danny White has gone. I think the Parker Group has called a lot of sitting guys out there at other places, Luke Fickell, Matt Campbell, James Franklin, a lot of the names that we've talked about. And they have not had a lot of interest. And I think as this search has evolved, I think it's turning back to where Josh Heupel has put himself in position, or he's in position to be a very viable candidate. They know each other very well at Central Florida. They've had some success down there, certainly, and trying to keep that thing going since Scott Frost has been gone. So it would make sense that would be somebody that Danny White is comfortable with and familiar with. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But I'm with you. It seems like his name is starting to percolate out there, if you will, in a lot of different coaching fronts.
If Tennessee likes to go that way, one would think that Joe Ossovet may stand the best chance to remain on this staff. He just interviewed with Heupel at Central Florida. And so it will be interesting to see how this all transpires if Tennessee elects to go with a guy like Josh Heupel, because I don't think he's going to bring his entire staff with him from UCF. So who can get in play here to potentially be on a Josh Heupel-led staff?
Well, I think that's a great question. Who would he bring? I don't know on the defensive side of the ball that there would be a whole lot of interest there with Randy Shannon. I don't know how. They gave up a lot of points this past year defensively. I think that was a struggle. So I don't know if they would want to continue to do that or go that direction or what they would do. I don't know. At this point, I think for Tennessee fans, everybody wants to know what's next. And it looks like right now, at least a new name that is certainly emerging a great deal this evening is Josh Heupel, which again makes a lot of sense because of his familiarity with Danny White. Now, what would a contract look like? Could they get everything comfortable? Could they make everybody comfortable with a contract that way in terms of length and all this stuff? I mean, there's lots and lots of questions there, but everybody tonight is chasing airplanes and throwing out names and this, that, and the other. And I think what we're both saying here in this conversation is Josh Heupel's name was not talked about 2 days ago. It wasn't talked about yesterday while Danny White was in Atlanta doing interviews, but it is a name that's being talked about this evening.
Yeah, especially with Elliott off the board. The Sonny Dyke stuff just never really made a lot of sense to me. And then you factor in, James Franklin off the board, it seems like as well. Heupel does make some sense. If it's not him, Brent, what names stick out to you? Because they could go a number of different ways depending on what he wants to do. Maybe he ends up looking for a defensive coach because, let's face it, he's kind of run the gamut of offensive coaches to this point, even though he's never called Coastal Carolina head coach Jamie Chadwell.
Yeah, I mean, that would be one, would for some reason that all of a sudden be somebody that he would want to look at. It would make sense to me that you would have a conversation with Jamie Chadwell. Kevin Steele's sitting on Tennessee's campus. He's had multiple conversations, I believe, with Danny White about where the program's at and kind of where his philosophy is on things. Would that be a way that he would look at going as well? I don't know. I mean, does he go and go for Leopold, who's from Buffalo? Now, he doesn't have any Southern ties. That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. He doesn't have any comfort level or any knowledge of the SEC at all. So on that front, those things don't make a lot of sense. But, those are some names that I think you would look at. And then does he look deeper into the assistant route as opposed to a setting head coach route if it's not somebody like Josh Heupel?
So there's where we are on this Tuesday evening, trying to keep everybody on the General's Quarters updated on the 2021 Tennessee football coaching search. We'll see and track things the rest of the way.